Duff Chapter 5 works much better as an overview than some of the other chapters. And if you've got to grips with chapters 2 and 3, then it really won't be too difficult. So the first thing you should do is go back and review chapters 2 and 3 on noun endings. This chapter will introduce adjective. We'll start off with some of the basic ideas. What is an adjective? The easy thing to do is to say that they describe nouns. Because they describe nouns, therefore, they are also going to have to agree in case, gender and number. You know that Greek has got 5 cases: nominative, vocative, accusative, genitive, dative. You know it's got 3 genders: masculine, feminine, neuter. And you know it's got 2 main numbers, singular and plural. So you're going to be able to describe your adjectives in these terms. And their endings are going to be created using the same patterns as nouns. So we need to look first at the form. How do these relate to nouns? And then we need to think about the use. And we're going to look at 3 different things you can do with these at this point in the book. First of all, the endings. I'm using the adjective kalos, partly because it's short and has a nice clear stem with a lambda in it. This means beautiful or fine. If you're okay with the article, or with words like logos, arche, and ergon, then the nouns are going to provide your pattern and the adjective endings should hold no terror. Kalos, kaler, kalon. Kalon, kalen, kalon. Kalu, kales, kalu. Kalor, kaler, kalor. Kaloi, kalai, kalas. Kaloi, kalai, kala. Kalus, kalas, kala. Kalon, kalon, kalon. Kalois, kalais, kalois. Again, these are going to show links to the definite article, and they're going to reflect the endings you've seen in your nouns at this point. So form-wise, actually, there's nothing new for you to learn. That's the good news. Now we've got to think about how to manipulate them in order to use them. First of all, we use them in an attributive sense. This means they are providing an attribute of a noun. So they're simply describing it. So you could have something like a good day, which in Greek would end up being agather hemera. You're just looking for them both to be feminine, nominative, singular in this case, which is going to be marked by that eta or alpha depending on your stem. Taking a masculine example, the relationship will be even easier. A good man, agathos, anthropos. That's the most basic thing you can be thinking about. It is worth looking at word order, and that's given to you on page 58 as an item in Duff. You're going to say in Greek either ho, agathos, anthropos, or ho anthropos, ho agathos. you've either got the good man, or you've got the man that is the good one. And you might use that second word order if you want to emphasise the nature of the man rather than just make it a general description. So attributive adjectives are what you might normally think of as an adjective. They're giving you the attribute description of a noun. They agree in case, gender and number. And with word order, there are two options in prose, both of which should give you a clear relationship with the noun. The predicative use can be slightly harder to unpick. Here, you need to think about what a predicate is to start with. And a predicate is going to be best thought of as a property. And this is where you're going to say a grammatically complete statement such as the man is good. Under the attributive sense, they were fragments I gave you. They were just phrases. When you come to look at the predicative use, you've got a verb in here now, is. In Greek, esti in this case. So you're looking at something that is going to be splitting up the noun and adjective in English, and the same will happen in Greek. You're going to get ho anthropos estin agathos. And here you can see that the verb to be is kind of functioning as an equal sign. Now, something that's very normal in Greek is actually to miss out that estin, though. So you might find it's not always there, and you're just left with ho anthropos agathos. You can tell that it's still a predicative use, though, because you haven't got an extra ho before agathos. If there were a ho in there, it would be attributive. The good man. This is the man is good because of the lack of article in there. This is something you'll see a lot of in the New Testament, so you will get used to it. The last use that's worth bearing in mind at this point is when you use the adjective to be a noun. This is something like the good, the bad, and the ugly. And such phrases exist in Greek. A really well-known one would be kalos and agathos together. Kalos kai agathos, good or fine and good. If you look in classical Greek, kalos is better translated as fine, but if you read Plato, Plato talks about auto to kalon and auto to agathon. Autos means self in this context, the good stuff itself, the fine stuff itself. The adjective kalon and the adjective agathon are being used as nouns here to give you the very essence of the adjective. So the form of the good, the form of the beautiful. And they end up conflated in Plato, coming to mean a very similar thing, so that aesthetic and ethical good both come together. And you see this in another Athenian phrase, kaloi kagathoi. This is the way you explain what you want to be. These are the noble Athenian men. Men are seeking to be kalos kai agathos, which gets conflated as one phrase, kaloi kagathoi. So it's really great that you can use these as a noun as soon as you add an article in front of them. So ho agathos is the good man. Hoi kakoi, the wrongdoers or evil people. Because you know the gender of it, you can supply a default person and get an actual thing out of this. It's a really useful aspect of Greek, that you don't have to express the noun in order to get a meaning out of an adjective. That's everything I'm going to talk about to do with the basic form and use of adjectives. You'll find these bits littered throughout Chapter 5. We will look at Chapter 5 in closer detail when we come to class, but I'd like you to look over this in advance. If you look on Canvas, you'll also find that I've summarised the main different ways in which adjectives can be used, using a series of English statements, and I've asked you to think about whether they are being used as attributes, predicates, or nouns. So please have a look at those, and we can discuss it further when I speak to you.